and speak up loud enough so that they can hear your questions. For everyone like Daniel H. and all those guys that watch the videos. Okay, so we're starting with Daniel Solar Car Company, right? Daniel's got a great sustainable idea with these solar cars. So we see this, right? Now, what's the most important thing that we need to do? Always the first thing, right? What's the first thing we need to do? Close. That's what we've been doing. But what do we get? How do we get our profit maximization? Define the equation, the objective function, right? Now to do this, we have to understand something, right? This is just kind of a quick review of things. We need to do like for like the tomatoes, right? Remember when we did the tomatoes and we had to do the cases into pounds and make sure that we had everything there? This is the same, okay? So when we look at this, we see what the profit contribution margin is. Actually, just so that a little bit better. So we're looking at the profit contribution and our variable production time, right? Right in here. Now we understand that Daniel already has orders for 100 sedans, 200 station wagons, and 300 coupes, right? So we know that all of these fixed costs are going to be there, no matter what, because the plant has to go through and build these, right? So he wants to plan production to break even as quickly as possible, right? So when I'm looking here with this variable production time, I want to make this variable production time equal to how much really an hour we make per one, right? So to do that, how would we do that? So the sedan makes $6,000. It takes 12 hours of variable production time. The station wagon is $8,000 and takes 15 hours. The coupe is 11 with 24. So how do I make these all alike? Yep. So if this is variable and this is the profit contribution, how do I make it so that I can compare like to like?
These are the constraints. 100 sedans, 200,
Yep. Those are constraints, exactly. So right here, we understand when we look down, we have our constraints, right? Which are 100 sedans, 200 station wagons, and 300 coupes, right? So, but when I'm looking up here at this profit contribution and the variable time, production time, that seems off to me. Does that not seem off to you? Because these aren't like for like, are they?
Because they are not what?
They're not like, think of like the pounds of tomatoes that you did from the last one, right?
Yeah.
So this one is saying, well, this is $11,000 or 24 hours worth of production. So we have to make these like for like. So how do we make them like for like?
Profit divided by time.
Profit divided by time. Because then we're going to be doing it hourly, right? Hold on. By W1, 2. Okay, we got her. She's on her way. So Galara will be here. So right, we want to make these like for like. We want to move it to hourly, right? So how do we do that? How would you guys suggest we do that?
Like for sedan, it's 6,000 divided by 12.
6,000 divided by 12, right? And that equals our sedan. Then for our Station wagon, it's 8,000 divided by 15, right? Equals. And then for our coupe, it's that look good to you guys? Because that puts us down into hourly, right? Because then we're going to see our profit contribution on an hourly basis. So, if we look at this, so that means that what's the hourly contribution for a sedan?
500.
500, right? Then for our station wagon,
500.
so when we're looking at this here, when we set up our Excel model, when we look at this, we'll actually put this in because these three threes end up compiling themselves and making a larger number, and you can get some variation there. So you want to make sure that your formulas are always there, right? So then with our coupe, what's our per he's a greedy capitalist, right? Daniel loves making money, so he wants. Hi, Galara. Sorry, they changed our rooms around. They stole our projector. So basically, what we've done so far is just like in the tomato case, that Red Brand hammers that we took these that weren't like for like and made them into hourly wages that you make off of each column. And then we wrote our objective function right here, which is 500x, which x for us is going to equal our sedan, y is going to be our station wagon, and z is going to be our coupe. So these numbers, so you do 6,000 divided by 12, and then 8,000 divided by 15, 11,000 divided by 20. Okay? So Daniel, his little greedy capitalist, what does he want to do the fastest right now? Read the problem. Yep. Okay. So in this, we can kind of check ourselves, right? So
The other way along is before.
not quite. So with this, rather than maximize profit like we want to do, we want to make it the shortest time to equal 12,000 or 12 million, right? Because these fixed costs are not going anywhere, right? And Daniel himself said, okay, I want it to be the closest it can to this. So these fixed costs aren't a sunk cost. Remember, fixed costs are one thing, a sunk cost is another. Fixed costs we put in, sunk costs we don't. Remember that from referendum? If we've already bought it, like if I already went out and bought a whole bunch of tires, then I'm not going to change it. That's already a cost that's over here. This is our fixed cost that we want to break even to. So rather than put our objective function at 0, we want to put it here at 12 million, right? Because that's what Daniel wants to do. And all that is taking, because we already know that we have to change, we have to do all of these fixed costs because we have 3 of these set up. So these fixed costs are going to be there no matter what. That making sense to everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, you ready to go over and model in Excel? Okay, you guys have some of this written down. I'm gonna.
How many million?
What? Yes. This should be 7 million. Sorry, I missed a 0. My apologies. I put the comma in there, just missed the 0. Okay, so let's head over into Excel. Yeah, we're not going to be doing that, guys. Trust me. Okay. So the first thing we want to do, like always, is say, okay, what are our variables, right? We want to make sure that we're referencing those right. So what are those? So we have our sedan. Should probably put a space there. And our coupe, right? Okay, now going back, you guys have it. But we're going to go back and we're going to say, okay, we remember that our sedan was 6,000 divided by 12, right? And our next one was 8,000, right? Divided by 15. And our third one was 11,000 divided by 24, right? Okay. So we've got this. We know where this is going to be going, right? So we also know our constraints, right? I'm just going to make this a little bit easier for you guys. Okay, so what are our constraints? How many cars do we need to produce? Do you want me to bring it back up?
Yeah, 100 and 200.
Yep.
100 sedans, 200 stations, 300
Yep. So we would call that a fixed cost constraint. Okay, we want to know how much we're going to do. So when we're writing our objective function, right? Normally we're going for max profit. We want as much profit as possible, right? We want to switch that up because we want the least amount of time to reach a certain goal, right? So then what you would do is down here, underneath the constraint, I would do a production, okay? All right?
Total fixed cost, right?
Yep. It's just, I'm calling it a production cost right now, so that's total fixed cost.
GA.
Yep. This is what we want right here.
Yeah.
And we're going to put that in as a constraint on this one. And it's not really going to be a constraint, it's going to be the goal. Okay? So, but when we do add this, I'll show you where we're going to do that, okay? So, since we have our coefficient for x, our coefficient for y, and our coefficient for z, right? So, we need to start using that sum product, right? So, underneath, we're going to do
standing together in an angry world. One boy fighting for
so with this is just the number of cars in production, right?
I wanna be loved.
Everyone understands that? Because this is going to be our x, y, and z. So we'll do 2, 3, and 4. And then over here, right, we want to make it, this is going to be our go-to. This is our objective function, okay? So with this one, we're going to say equal to the sum product of this array.
Sorry, what was
Those are just dummy variables, remember?
okay.
Because it doesn't like it sometimes when we just put in ones.
Yeah.
So we're going to use a dummy variable there. So this is just the number of cars in production, which are going to be our sedans, our station wagons, and our cars. And then it'll be that. Yep. And remember, with sum product, you can either go horizontally like this, and I'm teaching you guys all the different ways. I prefer to go vertically, but the way that you guys have been showing, you guys prefer horizontal. So you can do horizontal or you can do vertically. You can't combine the two. Okay?
Flowers in a garden of stone.
There's a comma in between or a semicolon?
There's a comma.
7 years now she's been gone.
Yeah.
It might be a semicolon. Look, just where it pops up like this, just go over. Remember how you can hold up and there's that semicolon. Whatever it has in there, just do it there. So with this, what we're going to do is this is our revenue, right? Not profit. This is just revenue right now. So we're going to call it revenue. It won't be profit until we meet all of our fixed costs.
Okay, yeah. But it's not also revenue because it's only contribution. So it's not considered variable cost.
We did do our variable costs. We're doing total production costs. I phrase that wrong. It's total production costs.
Because in the question it is already written as profit contribution for each model.
Yeah.
So this will be the
It would be the revenue.
revenue.
Okay, everyone tracking? Okay, now we get to open up everyone's favorite tool. Right? You guys are loving Solver right now?
We dream about it. But then we need to maximize or minimize them this time?
So with this one, what we're going to do is we're going to set the objective function to equal our total production. That's where we have it down here underneath constraints. Okay? Because we're maximizing this, but only to this point.
Okay.
So, all right.
Yeah.
So with this, we open up our favorite tool, Solver. So what is our set objective? Revenue, right? Okay. Now we can set it to a max, a min, or a value of 12 million. Yep.
Or we can also link to the cell.
Yeah. You can. No, you can't link to the cell.
Because then there wouldn't be a limit if you link it to the cell.
You just can't link it to the cell. Because it doesn't have, you can't, because if I'm doing a value and any cell on here changes, it doesn't want to link to it. So it won't let you do that. That's what's called a circular reference. When a formula references itself to go through and do it, that's a circular reference. And Solver really doesn't like those. So what are we changing? So we're changing these three, right?
And now the constraints.
Yeah. Excuse me, guys, but hold on, I'm gonna have to put it in. Yes. W122. Is that Lucas? Okay. Okay, so what are our constraints, guys?
100, 200.
Yep. So we're gonna add.
Reference cell will be 2, 3, 4.
Yep, and this.
Can be greater than or equal to.
Yep, 100, right? And we can add it. Does that seem right to you? We'll come back and look at this. So we're not looking at this because we're doing it in the quickest amount of time possible. So we already know that our station wagon is probably what we're going to produce the most of, right?
We have made it 5.33, and there it is the decimal is increased.
Yeah, well, no, that's just the amount of decimal points. You have the same thing that I have. So,
Two young lovers with their bodies on fire. They can swim that river of desire. Leaving innocence there on the bank by their clothes. A man holding on to a woman letting go. There's a man with a bottle on the other side of town, swimming with a memory that he can't drown. Lord, it ain't sunk in that she ain't coming home. His heart is telling him to hang on for dear life.
We haven't picked the in the make unconstrained variables non-negative.
Okay, now I have yours.
yeah.
What was mine?
No, I had every once in a while, when you restart solver, it'll start doing.
No, you should not use that automatic.
No, don't use automatic scan. Right? So when you are looking at this, okay guys, when you're proofing your stuff, make sure to kind of take a look at these. So I know that I should have a whole bunch of units of production, okay? So we're doing this the very simple way, just to kind of get our feet wet again. This. But I already know that with the station wagon, I should produce the most of that, right? Why do I know that? Why do I know that we're going to be producing the most station wagons?
Because I think the para profit for station wagon is more than 500.
Yes. Exactly. So like this right here, I'm only making $500 an hour with a stand, right? But with the station wagon, I'm making a lot more. I'm making $533. With a coupe, I'm not making anything. So in the ideal world where I want to say this is what we're going to do, this is what we do. Very quick and simple. Are you guys all getting this? I know you have to leave soon.
Yeah.
So you can head out whenever you want to. You're good. This is, if you have this, does everyone know the steps we went? Because next time we're gonna hopefully be in this room. Next time I'm gonna call up one of you to show your model.
What?
Show your model. So like you would do your model, and then you can bring it up and you can show the class. And then we'll help you work through it. And we'll do that for everyone. How does that sound? Is that a little bit better?
Yeah.
So that way it kind of pushes us? Okay. We've been here for 45, almost an hour now, guys.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to keep, I know you guys, do you guys want to keep going for a little bit, or do you guys want
What? Do you have another problem or
to? I can put one up.
maybe one more?
Okay.
Then we can maybe do one at home.
Okay. Do you guys want to stay on Mondays? Just on Monday nights?
Just next Monday is a holiday.
Oh.
I mean, I mean part time, but just to let you know that probably then more people. Or but
I'll send it out in WhatsApp. I'll ask.
yeah, or otherwise next week we do it. Wednesdays you can also do it a bit later because probably the problem is 5 o'clock. I work up to the time. So.
Yeah, and you guys have class until like 8:30 on Wednesdays, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Next
check-
Wednesday.
Yeah,
Check
it's
that.
the next week.
How was everyone's Easter?
Good.
Like a week ago.
Yeah.
I haven't saw it though. I
I
haven't seen you guys for almost because. So yeah,
The barbecue, right?
because we had there's a Frankfurt week from last week too.
Wednesday, I think we go smoking.
Okay.
So sorry, no. We have presentation.
Just write in the group and then.
All right, group. Now that we have the WhatsApp group going, we'll get that. I'm gonna close down this and then we'll just work on a problem to get you guys more familiar. Okay.